It's a Julian Assange story. This is, again, not going to be a surprise to anyone here. This is over at the Dissenter. That's Kevin Gostola's outlet. But he also has Chip Gibbons working with him. Chip is another good independent writer. I'm also a paid subscriber to the Dissenter. They cover prison stuff and they cover a lot of press freedom, and they're very close on the WikiLeaks story and Julian Assange trial. In hunting WikiLeaks, how wide was the national security state's net? And I think we all know the answer. Yes, E. Heller, it is playing on a loop. I don't know what happened. What we'll end up doing is probably streaming it there afterwards. I don't know. Rumble, we'll deal with Rumble later. Rockfin.com/indie. You know what? I just realized I never turned Rockfin. Rookie moves. Rookie moves. I never hit the red button, did I? Wow. Terrible. Anyway, I'm not having a good day. In hunting WikiLeaks, how wide was... No, we're not even gonna. I quit. How wide was the national security state's net? When it comes to their war on WikiLeaks, there is a strong suspicion to believe that the three-letter agencies didn't stop at its founder, right? We know this. The question is, how far beyond Assange did they go? Nobody's really going to be surprised by anything we're hearing here, because this is just a compilation of a lot of the same information that we kind of already know, but who they're going after and where, and the fact that their tentacles are reaching worldwide. Ever since WikiLeaks began exposing its crimes, the U.S. national security state has pursued a ruthless vendetta against it. Justice Department, of course, is currently seeking to have Julian Assange extradited to the U.S. to stand trial under the Espionage Act. Free Julian Assange right now. Drop those charges. The source of the revelations, Chelsea Manning, was already convicted by a military court under the Espionage Act. She was also tortured in pretrial detention. In addition to this abuse of the legal process to destroy WikiLeaks, the intelligence community has waged an extra-legal war. The CIA, FBI, and National Security Agency have all participated in this extra-legal war. Among the most notorious are the serious allegations that the CIA, working with the Spanish security contractor UC Global, David Morales is the head guy there, spied on Julian Assange's legal meetings, seriously contemplated kidnapping the journalist, and discussed killing him in a London shootout, and whether the US or the UK was actually going to carry out that murder, which of course did not happen. When it comes to their war on WikiLeaks, there is strong reason to believe that the three-letter agencies didn't stop at its founder. The question is, how far beyond Assange did they go? Again, I don't think that we're going to be surprised by this, but a February 2023 investigation published by Der Spiegel posed the question, is the CIA hunting WikiLeaks supporters? It looks at the series of strange break-ins, unexplained surveillance, and even prosecutions WikiLeaks supporters have faced globally. I think we even covered a Tariq Haddad article that talked specifically about those break-ins here on How Do We Miss That? The article zooms in on the cases of Andy Mueller-Magoon, a friend of Assange and vice president of the Wow Holland Foundation, which processes donations for WikiLeaks, Aitor Martinez, which is one of Assange's Spanish lawyers, and Ola Binny, who is a Swedish programmer and a friend of Assange, who recently was released from prison and is free in Panama, somewhere in Central America, but he's not really free from what I hear. But as one of Julian's regular visitors when he was closely monitored in the Ecuadorian embassy, Mueller-Magoon has reported a number of encounters with obvious surveillance. Okay, he was regularly questioned at the London airport. Cars followed him to and from the embassy, but he began experiencing a number of more intrusive forms of surveillance. He was photographed by a stranger with a telephonic lens in Milan. His Berlin home was a subject of an attempted break-in, and he discovered a surveillance device implanted in his apartment in Southeast Asia. I think that's the one that we covered was the bug. Aitor Martinez and Assange's Spanish team had similar experiences, and we definitely had the video footage of this on December 17, 2017. 3 masked men broke into the team's legal office. Security camera footage shows them ignoring valuables and cash, but rifling through drawers and filing cabinets, clearly looking for something. They ultimately left, stealing a Christmas ham. Yes, a Christmas ham. Ola Benny's case is perhaps the most distressing.
Isn't that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing? Christmas ham?
I would equate it more to the Grinch, where they stole the roast beast. But
now, what's the one in the Santa Claus where it's like, what's her name is having a fight in the shopping center with like canned ham? No.
You mean spam?
Rum ham, says Himbo. Yeah.
Ah, yes. Okay.
It was like a can ham in a can. Like it's a thing.
So Ola Benny has lived in Ecuador since 2013. Although he was friends with Julian and visited him over 15 times in the London embassy, Benny maintains that he never worked for WikiLeaks or Assange. Hours after Julian's arrest, Benny was arrested in Ecuador. He was accused of attempting to destabilize the government and attacking its computer systems. I think we covered this when he got out.
Because we would never try to destabilize the government.
Prosecutors explicitly alleged that he had conspired with Ricardo Patiño, the former foreign minister of Ecuador who granted Assange asylum. The arrest was internationally condemned and viewed as politically motivated, which of course it was. It wasn't just viewed, it was politically motivated. Critics maintain that not only was Benny targeted for his relationship with Julian, but that his prosecution meant to demonize supporters of the former left-wing government of Rafael Correa. Yes, Benny was eventually acquitted, but his ordeal continues. And there's a whole link to the EFF and talking about the Ecuador judicial system still surveilling him. And I think he has a ankle bracelet.
10 more years, Julian.
Oh, man. Mr. Leahy, shout out, R.I.P. Leahy. As the Der Spiegel piece makes clear, there is no smoking gun linking the experiences of Mueller-Magoon, Martinez, and Benny to any U.S. intelligence agency, yet it is not paranoid for supporters of Assange to wonder if strange break-ins, surveillance, and open lawfare have their origins with the U.S. national security state, which is why, because Der Spiegel is not the first publication to document the strange occurrences Assange supporters and visitors have encountered. In 2020, journalist Charles Glass wrote a piece for The Intercept entitled The Unprecedented and Illegal Campaign to Eliminate Julian Assange. In it, he described his own strange encounters. 2 days after visiting Assange in the Ecuadorian embassy, an office he shared in London was broken into. His computer was stolen. His office mates' computers were left untouched. Glass wrote, "It's impossible to prove who did it, but it's not impossible to guess." And then we talk about an Italian journalist, Stefania Marizzi, Tara Reid lookalike, doppelganger, and potentially also an honorary recipient for 2023 of an Indie Media Award. She also had a bizarre run-in. Stefania visited Assange multiple times and has served as media partner for every major WikiLeaks release, as well as the Italian media partner for the Snowden disclosure. While Stefania was working with WikiLeaks concerning the NSA surveillance of world leaders, someone stole her backpack at a train station. After reporting the incident to police then dubbed it as an atypical robbery. Marizzi also experienced surveillance while visiting Assange at the embassy. And again, we had this. UC Global security contractors took her electronic devices from her visits. They removed the device's SIM cards and photographed them. Other visitors to the embassy were similarly spied upon. This surveillance prompted a lawsuit against the CIA from 4 U.S. citizens, including Glass, which is still ongoing. The CIA and others are trying, of course, to have the case thrown out. Sure. because the perpetrators must never be prosecuted. That's called a coup d'etat. Revelations from the Snowden disclosures
Is that what it's called? That's French for something, right?
Yeah, something like no, that's menage a trois, but that's another story. Revelations for the Snowden disclosures also shed disturbing light on the potential breadth of the U.S. national security state's war on WikiLeaks. The government backbone, the government communications headquarters, which is the British equivalent to the NSA, tapped into the backbone of the internet to gather the IP addresses of those who visited the WikiLeaks website. No problems there. Additionally, inside the NSA, officials discussed declaring WikiLeaks a malicious foreign actor. I don't think that they discussed it. I think they actually did it. And that's why I think they're treating Julian the way they have. Legal designations like this have been key to the three-letter agency's war on the organization. CIA and FBI tried to get it designated as information brokers to get around the rules on targeting journalists. CIA did declare WikiLeaks a hostile non-state intelligence agency, which is a maneuver that allowed them to engage in offensive counterintelligence against the organization, something that has previously only been allowed for targeting state intelligence services.
Russian scum!
Yep. But the NSA designation would be particularly pernicious. By labeling WikiLeaks a malicious foreign actor for targeting purposes, the NSA would be able to electronically target WikiLeaks for surveillance without excluding information about U.S. persons. That's the crux right there.
Number one Russian hacker.
Wait, what? Try that again?
Number one Russian hacker.
Yes, that too. But like I said,
number one Russian hacker.
By labeling WikiLeaks a malicious foreign actor, they are essentially a terrorist organization, they're calling them. I said that a while ago. It feels like they changed the classification and the designation and the way that they look at WikiLeaks and the way they treat Julian and the way they treat this case. And everything that their behavior...
You mean the Patriot Act might have precedent?
Everything that their behavior... Everything that their behavior has done over the last 3 years has indicated that, because they still won't drop the case in spite of all of the mountains of evidence that are showing that they illegally obtained evidence, that they illegally bought off witnesses, that those witnesses are absolute fucking pedophiles. Yes, Siggy Thordarson was an absolute pedophile. That's their star witness. Doesn't matter. Because they're really just going out for a persecution. This is not even a trial. But they're not just going to limit it. Now, the thing that scares the hell out of me and should scare the hell out of all of us, including our friend Misty Winston, which is that NSA is probably hot. Hi, Fred, is recording and listening to this right now because we are talking shit about the NSA. The Electronic Privacy Information Center, deemed EPIC, because every nightmarish organization has a name that means the exact opposite, in 2011 filed a FOIA request with the Department of Justice and the FBI for files about an investigation into WikiLeaks, including all records regarding lists and names of individuals who have demonstrated support for or an interest in WikiLeaks.
We're
Yes. The FBI withheld the documents by arguing an investigation was ongoing, which a district court upheld.
Yep.
Historically, the FBI targeted groups it dubbed subversive, such as the Communist Party and the Socialist Workers' Party. Wouldn't know anybody a member of those organizations. An explicit goal of this targeting was the fear that the American people might view these organizations as legitimate political parties. The FBI spying did not stop there. They claimed the power to track subversives. They claimed that the power to track subversives also meant they could spy on and destroy those who might be influenced or infiltrated by those subversives. They, of course, infamously launched communist infiltration investigations into the NAACP, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and Martin Luther King. Attorney General RFK, that's Booby's daddy, signed J. Edgar Hoover's request to wiretap King to essentially learn if the civil rights icon was talking to communists on the telephone.
And if he was cheating on his wife. That too.
Yeah. Yeah. They of course,
nice people.
While he was hanging out in a dress and doing cross-dressing and doing whatever he was doing, J. Edgar. In the 1980s, activists opposed to Ronald Reagan's Central America policy experienced break-ins and death threats not dissimilar from those experienced by WikiLeaks supporters. I will say that there's a man by the name of Roger Stone that is directly linked to both, as well as Oliver North. Not saying, just saying.
Oh, yeah, Ollie North.
This prompted civil liberties groups to file FOIA requests. Although the break-ins remain unsolved, the subsequent FOIA requests revealed that the FBI, citing its foreign counterintelligence authorities, had investigated the committee in solidarity with the people of El Salvador and other Central American solidarity groups. Can we defund the FBI, the CIA, and the NSA, please? Can we just be done with that? Because we need to.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No one has yet been able to definitively tie the break-ins, atypical robberies, and intrusive surveillance of WikiLeaks to any of the American intelligence agencies, nor will they ever be able to because they're set up and they do this really well. There's also the help of foreign intelligence agencies that they don't even necessarily want to talk about, whether that's MI6, Mossad, or anyone else.
Yes. Right.
Yes. Okay. Perhaps they're all just a series of troubling coincidences, but of course, one doesn't need to be paranoid to suspect the hand of the U.S. national security state, given the history of its abusive surveillance and its obsessive vendetta against WikiLeaks. It's impossible not to suspect involvement by one or more of the U.S. intelligence agencies, likely CIA, targeting WikiLeaks.
And the best part of this plan is, no one can stop me.
Right? Sean Miller. Dude. Trying to keep it clean, man. Yes, I see the small D in the right corner. Damn it. Small D, man. Small D. Got you. Small D energy. Is that what you're saying? No, this is big D energy. Targeting WikiLeaks, depending on how broad the intelligence agencies cast their nets, opens up a range of activists and journalists to surveillance. Again, no surprise to anybody listening, watching, paying attention, in support of the greatest journalists alive and maybe to ever live. Free Julian Assange. Free him now. Drop those charges. Get him the fuck out. Yeah.
Julian,
Julian.
come here.